2, clap. All right. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. Orion Jones here, who is running for county commissioner.
Hancock County Commissioner.
Hancock County Commissioner. And so, yeah, we talked about it a little before, but what does the county commissioner do? I have no idea.
So, the county commissioner oversees multiple budgets that have their own independent elected officials that manage them, including the sheriff, the public health and public safety. You have the county engineer, you have the auditor, and then the general fund, which helps oversee like the fair board, the county landfill. And so there's a broad brushstroke of variety of the things that the county commissioners help oversee, and then really diving into the operations of how the city and the counties are working together in collaboration for the future growth and the future best interest of Hancock County as a whole. Because we have to remember that we're not just the city of Findlay. So the city of Findlay is 40,000 residents, but then you have Hancock County, which extends from Macomb to Arlington to Bluffton, Van Buren.
A little bit of Fostoria.
Yes,
almost,
ground
huh?
some Fostoria. So it's almost equal population between the city at 40,000 ish and the county at 40,000 ish. So it's basically 80,000 total with almost a direct divide in between.
Okay, and so you have what do you have to do with all these people? What do you oversee?
So it's managing the budgets for all of these
the budgets.
individuals, yes, and making sure that the money is allocated properly, and then you have additional general fund budgets of about 15% of your $35 million budget. So 10 to 15% of that is a little bit, I don't want to use the word discretionary, but it can be used for different things. And so like the bed tax, for example, where you have a 5% bed tax. You sleep here, you pay a tax here. And so 1% of that goes to the fair board and helps support our agriculture.
Wait, so you mean, so I pay bed tax. If I'm in Hancock County, if I'm in the city of Findlay.
That's for hotels. So like if you sleep
Oh,
here, you
okay,
stay
okay.
here. So your property tax in Hancock County,
I see what you're
yes.
saying. I see what you're saying.
Yes, so
Okay.
your property tax, and that's where your property tax, and there's a lot of different aspects of, does your property tax go into your township, your city, how are you, what utilities are you on? Are you on well water? What's your local utilities? What's your sewer? Are you on septic? So it all depends on a bunch of different factors, whether or not you're annexed into the city operations or the county operations, and making sure that we're all working together as with the mentality of there's not separation between Allen and Cass and Orange and the city of Findlay and all the townships. There's 17 of them. That's the most difficult
17
thing.
townships in Hancock County.
Yes, 17
Okay.
of them.
And so now is there and excuse me for not knowing my politics as well, or maybe my
So
government.
most people don't.
But is there somebody for the city of Findlay that takes care of that budget, or do you take care of the city of Findlay's too?
No, so we're just overseeing the different departments of, and I'd say overseeing, we're just managing the budget allocations of the sheriff. So the sheriff's an elected position. So they fall underneath our budget oversight, but they manage their own budget as an individual elected official. When they need something or they're trying to increase their budget, they come to the county commissioners and say, how can we help disperse funds better, or where can we allocate funds better? But the sheriff's gonna have an individual budget that he manages. The
Okay.
county engineer is going to have an individual budget that he manages. So just think of it as we're at the top of the pyramid that's overseeing that money that's distributed to these different entities. And these entities run their own budget. So
So the Findlay City Police Department.
they're separate.
They're
They're
separate.
100% underneath the city of Findlay,
Okay.
City Council.
Did you say commissioners?
Yes.
County commissioners?
3 of them.
Okay, so there's 3 of you.
Yeah.
There's 3 of you.
Yeah. So there
And
has to be a two-thirds
who's
majority.
now? Who are the 3 right now?
So you have Jeff Hunker, Bill Bateson, and Tim Bechtel. And Tim Bechtel's seat is the one that's open.
Okay. Now,
We're opening.
yeah, and he's running again too.
He's an incumbent, and he's running again. Myself, Rachel Rader, Gina Campbell, and Tim Bechtel are running. So
Okay.
it's a little bit of a crowded field. Competition breeds excellence. So
Yeah,
I do come
nice,
from a
nice.
baseball background, and I always wanted to. Competition does make you better.
Yeah.
And it makes the city better. It's good for everybody.
Now, did you just wake up one morning and say, "God, county commissioner," and because you have background in budgets, right?
Yes, so my background is in facility management with both Tiffin University and the University of Findlay, and then I have a deep background in construction management with commercial construction management, and I was also a head college baseball coach and played college ball throughout my life as well. So I have this sports, industry, construction, facility management, fiscal management background, and I've always wanted to get into politics to be more impactful. And
Yeah.
I sat here and I look at my situation where I'm currently at, and I said, I have the opportunity in my life right now to help take my skills and see if I can be impactful for our community. And I looked at the different opportunities that were out there, and I looked at Hancock County Commissioner, and I was like, oh, they oversee facilities, they oversee budgeting, they oversee future capital projects and operations. And I was like, that lines up well with my skills. And then learning more about the position and how the camaraderie and the collaboration between the townships and the cities, and how there's been a lot of issues with that, and how there's not good communication and collaboration. And I'm like, oh, that's what I do extremely well, from team management. Together everyone achieves more, you know,
Yeah,
all of our
right.
acronyms in the sports industry, and being able to take my working knowledge skills of budget management, fiscal, operations, incorporate them with my athletic management, and then I'm also getting my doctorate degree from the University of Findlay in leadership, and all that combination I feel molds into a position where I can be very positively impactful for our community.
Mm-hmm.
Which, at the end of the day, Jim, I'm just trying to make things better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I have no agenda. I have no anything greater than how can I make the best decision for the people of Hancock County to not increase our taxes and to manage our tax dollars the most efficiently.
Mm-hmm. So I live in Liberty Township, and so for example, I have always had kind of a grumble about, you know, my kids to get from Liberty from the Hillcrest area. I live in the Hillcrest area, okay, and to get out there, you got to go on 95. Where the speed limit's 45, which, you know, they zip through there 55 right out of my a neighborhood there. And to get to anywhere near a sidewalk where you can go to Great Scott, or you can go to Walmart, or any of the, you know, the Cold Stone Creamery.
Yep.
I've always I want a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something that takes us there. Like if I just wanted to grumble about that, which, you know, my kids are older now anyhow. Well, not really all of them. My youngest is 13. If I wanted to grumble about that, would I call the county commissioner?
I would be one of your steps.
Okay.
Yes, I would be one of your pathways. And
I want a
that'd be-
bridge.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, and that's what we did along 568 with the walking trail, and how we're investing into our non-automobile infrastructure. And it is important, because I was knocking on doors in Liberty Township, and I was like, there's no sidewalks here. You know, I mean, you're
there's
walking
not.
down the middle of the road, and anywhere you go in those residential neighborhoods.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where we were just talking about preparing for those types of things when you're building new infrastructure, about what you call shovel ready. And did they plan for that accordingly? What's the infrastructure? You're on city water there, I'm assuming, in Liberty?
Yeah.
You're not on well, right?
No, we're not on well.
Yeah, you're not on well, and you're not on septic for sewer.
Right. No.
So, you know, they did tie in with the city infrastructure on those different things. So,
And because when I was a kid, they just had the Hillcrest, a very minimal, you know, stuff. So would they have to go to the commissioner and say, hey, listen, we want to develop this area, like the area on, say, for example, on 99.
99, yes.
Yeah, all those apartments, whatever, are going up there.
Yep.
Was that a big deal?
Yes.
Because I know
And-
some people were complaining about, didn't want it in the backyard,
Of course.
stuff like, you know.
And that's the individual property right management of, hey, if you're a property owner, you have the right to do with your land as you see fit, as long as it doesn't negatively impact from a health and safety aspect, from a resource aspect of your neighbors. Now, your neighbors might not always like that, and you can be what we call neighborly. We can have, you know, a code of ethics for neighborly rules, but I'm very sensitive towards telling you what to do as a property owner, and saying you can't develop your land because I want to keep your land agricultural. You know, that's not fair to you if you're sitting there wanting to cash out and move to Florida, whatever you want to do with it,
Yeah.
for the reasons why. And that's where, as a developer, would approach you as the landowner and say, we want to put up apartments on your land. And you say, yes, we need to then take this to the annexation. So the developer doesn't come to me as a county commissioner and say, I want you to approach this landowner. That's not my responsibility.
Right, right.
It's you guys to come and say, we want to, as the landowner, I want to sell my land to develop it or lease it, whatever that looks
Right.
like, and we're going to need to annex this into the city, and then we go through the process of annexation. Is there health and is there health and safety issues? What's the utilities? What's the infrastructure? How does this impact taxes? You know, there's all kinds of different aspects. But at the end of the day, I feel that my job as the commissioner and what's been lacking is open lines of communication. I'm going to objectively find as much information as I can on whatever that is. How a housing study would impact, you know, from a roadway use, from an infrastructure use, from, you know, you name it. What's the stop signs, what's the stop lights, all those different aspects of what your individual building wants to do to the community. Where's the taxes going? Where's the money coming from? Where's it going to? Are we hurting Allen Township? Are we hurting their EMS services, their fire services, their ability to maintain their roads because this annexation would take away funding dollars from these services? And all those questions go on a case-by-case basis. And
So when you say annex, you mean bring it to, and then all of a sudden it's city of Findlay.
Yes.
It's the city of Findlay,
yes,
and so those taxes don't go to the volunteer Liberty Township Fire Department.
exactly.
right?
Exactly. Now you can work out deals where there's profit sharing and there's different ways. So there's not a line in the sand of this is the only way to do it. And that's where what I come to the table with is that communication level to what's in the best interest of Hancock County as a whole. And if we're not growing, we're dying. And you know, and that depends on what individuals want with their community. And I mean, are we looking to expand and to grow? Because right now the 3 C's, Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, are projected from ODOT to have the most fiscal and economic growth impact in the state of Ohio. And these other counties, such as Hancock, are projected to have decline because they're looking strictly at our economic development, our growth, our housing, our infrastructure, how we're investing into our infrastructure, what type of infrastructure. And ODOT is objective. They're just saying simply these 3 main areas have invested significantly into their chips and science, into their manufacturing, their high-end manufacturing, their housing growth. And so they say these areas are going to see economic growth. If Hancock County and these areas don't invest properly into a larger plan economically, we're going to shrink.
Why does the Ohio Department of Transportation have say in that? Why are they?
They're just able to objectively look at the study and look at the numbers because they're creating the roads and the infrastructure for these buildings.
Okay.
You know, so for the chips processing plant, they had to develop. ODOT was responsible for developing that road. When they're looking at all of what their future planning is for how they're developing the state as a whole for connecting all the veins, where are they investing? They're going to invest that.
So you're saying that ODOT says that Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, they're annexing a lot of places.
They
Is
have-
that what you're saying? And Hancock County's not?
I don't want to use the word annex, you know, because however their economic footprint is, they're developing at a much larger rate with that economic growth mindset where so many times in areas like Hancock County, and I understand it, there's agriculture is the backbone of this community in Hancock County. It's the number 1 revenue producer, and something, you know, we produce like 600 million pounds of soybeans a year. And, you know, making sure that we're respecting our cultural heritage as a farming community and an agricultural based community while still having the mindset of growth and economic development. It's a balance. And I have a country background, so I get it, but I also have an economic background. And so I get that too. And how do we walk together instead of right now, there's such separation of townships thinking the city's encroaching on them because the city wants to expand with economic development footprint. And I get it because then the townships are saying, you're taking away our agricultural land and you're taking away our resources to be able to fund our services. And there's inevitably mine and yours instead of Hancock County as a whole. And how do we create the future for your children to stay, for my children to stay and thrive?
So the 3 commissioners, who are the 3 commissioners again?
Jeff Hunker, Bill Bateson, and Tim Becker.
Yeah, okay. So if somebody said, hey, a big developer said, hey, I wanted to, so-and-so wants me to sell me 100 acres. and I want to put a development in there. And do you three get together and like say yay or nay?
We do the whole entire study, and that's where you look. There's annexation rules and bylaws that you go through the checklist. So much of it is just boxes that you're checking going down. Again, infrastructure, health.
But could you have the final say? You can
can't.
either do it or you don't.
We
you can't do
absolutely
it.
have control.
But if you
over-
say yes, say you three get together or whatever, say okay, let's do this. Is there people around there? The farmers like no, and then they can they niche it?
Basically, no, because then it turns into a property rights with owner.
So
gets to
it
do
can
his-
happen. It's going to happen if
Yes.
you guys want it to happen.
Yes,
basically.
yes. At the end of the day, once the county commissioner they come together and they say, yes, this has passed all of these tests right here. The property owner wants
Yeah.
it. All of these things have lined up. It really just turns into, okay, the development's now been approved and it
Yeah.
moves forward.
And then if you improve it and people are mad, you just maybe not get elected next time. No, I'm
You
just
know,
kidding.
well, and that's in any leadership role, no matter what you're doing, you're never going to get 100% of people on board.
Yeah.
You know, in
Right,
every
right,
baseball
right.
team that I
Yeah.
ran and every
Yeah.
organization that I managed, it was always the same thing. You have to look at what's best for the organization as a whole, objectively. I've been here for 10 years, but I don't have roots in Allen or the city or any other township. So I'm not biasly making this decision against anyone. I'm objectively making the decision on what's best for Hancock County as a whole. Inevitably, you're going to upset people because it's impossible
Yeah,
to do. But I
you
always say
can't
the
please
same
everybody,
thing.
you know?
Yeah, and
Just
I always say
making
the
sure I
same
got-
thing though, is that do not.
Okay, we're good.
I love the line of, don't just say you don't like my idea. You know, fine, you don't like my idea. What's yours? How can I do it
Yeah,
better?
right,
I'm
yeah.
white. I'm not an arrogant man. If you have I always say a better way to build a mousetrap. Here's my way to build the mousetrap, and I'm
Yeah.
catching 4 mice right now. You come to me and show me that your mousetrap catches 10.
Yeah.
Let's go. But don't just come to me and say you don't like the way that my mousetrap catches mice.
Right.
I don't like your plan.
Don't give a solution. Give,
Yeah.
give me something. Give me something different.
Don't
you
just
know?
give me the I don't like it. Well, what's yours? Well, I don't have one. I just don't like yours. Well, you
Yeah.
know, then don't come to me. And in management, I said the same thing. Don't come to me with just problems.
Yeah.
Bring me solutions
Right,
to the problems.
absolutely.
And tell me if you don't like the way I'm doing it, cool. What's yours?
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. You know, when I owned my hot dog restaurant, yes, I did. Did you know I owned a hot
I
dog?
love that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
your story.
Somebody came up to me at one time, and it was towards the end when I was ready to get out, and I opened my gym I'm in now, and he came up to me and he's like, you know what, it was good, but he goes, you know what, maybe you could use a different bun. And I was like, okay. And by this time I was just like, okay, well, what bun do you want me to use? He's like, no, just a different one. I'm like, well, what's wrong with this bun? Give me another bun to lose, a pretzel bun?
Yeah.
And I was
What's
just
the cost? Where does it
Yeah,
come from? What's the
yeah,
yeah?
My wife's like, oh, Diane's like, Jim, settle down, come on.
But you
It was
do.
towards the end of my
Yes.
hot dog
Yes,
career when I
and
was.
what day somebody approaches you, like, you know, the wrong day to say that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm struggling in this
Yeah.
business. I'm, looking to close my doors, and you want to come along here and tell me why my buns aren't soft enough?
I mean, they were quality steamed buns too.
Absolutely, I have no doubt.
You know, I must say though that my son, what class did you teach last
So
year?
it was business leadership, principles of management.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, so I looked at it as a leadership class, principles of management.
Yeah, I just must tell you, my son still talks about your class. My son Jimmy, who's 20 years old, he loved your class. He
Yes.
loved your enthusiasm. He loved your optimism. He enjoyed going to it. You know, you really you made an impression on him. He put off a good vibe every day, and he would tell me about it.
And that's where, I look at this, and same thing with teaching and any other thing that I've ever done, is that I walk into a position and I'm an outside the box thinker. When I walked into that principles of management class, they had a list of all the things that I was supposed to cover. And it was all the by the book stuff about, well, when Johnny says this, then you're going to manage him like this. And I looked at all this, and I looked at this classroom full of young adults, and I said, I need to teach them how to be better leaders. Because when you grow yourself, you're going to be a better leader for your organization. And just teaching out of the book of this scripted ABC check marks is not how you develop good leaders. And so I literally took the time and created an entire course structure that was basically away from the way that the book taught. But look how impactful that was. Now, if I would have taught that, I could have made my life stupidly simple. They hand you the entire course online. where I could have gone page 1, day 1.
Yeah.
They take the test, it's automatically graded, everything is structured, and you as a professor don't have to lift a finger. I made my life complicated because I made individual weekly projects and I structured the class off my own top of my head and wrote an entire class structure. But because of that, I impacted your son more.
Yeah,
I impacted positively. That affected them. They got their money's worth out of that class more than anybody can go to the library and rent the same book, go through the same class.
Right.
And I take that same approach into a Hancock County Commissioner role. And you say, well, you're kind of budget management. No, you're impactful in the landfill. You're impactful in economic development. You're impactful in future planning. You know, what are we bringing into the county for our job growth, and how are we growing this? Yes, the daily operations of county commissioner is a lot of fiscal management responsibilities, but the impact that you can have community-wide in, again, recycling, waste. My dad was a solid waste superintendent, so I came up around landfills. I have a passion for landfills. And how are we going to the next level of material processing and keeping a circular economy, and how are we becoming independent as Hancock County by produce your own food, produce your own fuel, produce your own power. That's true independence, and that's not a left-wing liberal hippie. That's hey, let's stop being affected by tariffs and by wars and by food costs and by COVID. And you know, COVID makes a sheet of plywood go to $60. You know, okay, what if we recycled our own plastic material and we produced 4x8 sheets of plastic of plywood off of melted plastic?
Yeah.
I don't know if those are economically feasible plans, but right now we're filling up our landfill at twice the rate that we planned for and putting everything into a hole.
Gosh, I wonder about that. I mean, it is just, interesting.
And do we think outside the box? And do we try to create and generate revenue? Right now, Marathon has a biofuel plant in North Dakota that processes 600 million pounds of soybeans every year and turns it into biofuel. We have Gardner Trucking, Ohio Logistics, Amazon, Lowe's, distribution centers. What would it be like if we produced our own biofuel here? I mean, and our farmers don't fluctuate in pricing between the tariffs that have destroyed their agricultural crops because China stopped buying it and all of a sudden soybean drops out. Well, what if we didn't have to worry about that because we grow it, we produce it, we sell it. All circular economy. I know these are big, long-term plans. Big problems take big ideas.
Yeah.
And we're not having these conversations right now of how we're insulating ourselves and our economy for these types of things that are affecting us. I mean, look what gas prices right now. I promise you, if you talk to Gardner Trucking and Sherry Gardner, she bid jobs 6 months ago at diesel prices at $3.50, and right now her company's taking a bath at $5.50. You know, and same thing with Chuck Bill's Ohio Logistics. These are the backbone of our economy here, and if these companies aren't successful, we don't have the tax-based infrastructure to provide you with the roads and bridges and all of the great things that this city has to offer. So if we're not looking out for these companies and these incredible business owners that are giving back so much, and then what they donate as well. I mean, go around our community and look at all the infrastructure that Chuck Bills, the Reinhardts, the Gardner Trucking. I mean, they're huge in our community, and it's our job to uplift, support business owners like you. And how can we be creatively thinking, how do we bring people into this town that are going to use your gym, that are going to be able to, you know, how do we continue to grow?
Now is the housing thing, is that you guys, or is that
It's part.
Yeah.
It's part of the discussion. So you know, there's out there on Shady Grove, out there on the east side of town.
So is he selling the place? He's selling it.
Yes.
And
It's supposed to be a part of
I just
housing.
saw that.
Because here's the other thing you have to be concerned about is what type of housing are you building? Because if you're just building an apartment and it's an outside contractual investor that's using an outside bank, then that rent money is not going back into our economy. And so like if you as an investor who lives somewhere else comes in and wants to build, you know, 300 apartment complexes and you're using the outside bank and it's all rent money, yeah, you might pay some property taxes, but that money's not staying in Hancock County. So being aware of that, we're not using local banks, we're not using local contractors, we're not using local property right owners. And then what type of resident is a person, and I'm just talking plainly, but somebody who can't afford a house, odds are they're not going to be able to afford your gym. I mean,
Yeah.
you need somebody with a higher income that can, afford a home that is planted in here. They're not, your target market, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is not necessarily the $15 an hour, warehouse worker. Your target market is that probably higher end, more white collar, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I offer a lot of stuff here though, the ninja stuff,
Yes.
and stuff, and
I guess disposable income is where I'm going, not
Right,
more
right.
like, do you have to be an accountant, but you have to be able to, afford.
so what are you saying? What are you
So
saying?
what I'm going with this is that if we're only looking at low income housing, then what type of residents are we going to bring in?
Mm-hmm.
What type of job growth is that? What jobs are we filling with low income housing and with low income residents? And this is no disrespect against anybody. I'm just stating facts. And so are we helping prop up your business by only building rented apartment complexes?
Right.
Or are we supporting Jim Steffen in your business? And this is where I was trying to tie it back around.
I got you.
Is by building those $250,000 to $350,000 homes that we're then selling to the recruits that Marathon's bringing in, that Ball's bringing in, that these larger companies can bring in, and our infrastructure of high quality workers that are bringing in the more high quality jobs.
But what about these places that are opening up that are hiring all these $15 an hour jobs? What do you do about that?
And that's where you've got to look at what type of businesses are you bringing into the community, and what type of workers are they going to be. Honestly, we don't need more factory jobs here.
Yeah.
There's a help wanted sign in front of
Yeah.
all of those
Good
factories.
point. It's a good point.
And I continue
Interesting.
to use the disclaimer of I am blue collar. I come from that world. My grandfather worked in the sawmill for 40 years. My dad I grew up around landfills. I am blue collar. I'm only just stating facts.
Yeah, right.
And if we're so scared in the political environment to ever just talk bluntly about, hey, I'm not for or against it. I'm just stating that if this is the infrastructure that we're building, this is what we're catering to, and then this is the result. A, B, and C. Low income housing equals people that have low income that we're attracting to our community, which means that's going to be the economic footprint that we're going to be able to support for our job growth. And if that's what we want, fine.
Yeah.
If that's what's best for Hancock County, no
Yeah.
problem. But is it?
Yeah. That's interesting. So when's election day?
May 5th.
May 5th. May 5th.
Yeah.
So are you, what do you do? You have to knock on doors, or what do you do?
1,000 doors, 10,000 doors.
Really?
And
So
it
you're
is
out there knocking on doors, just
every
introducing
day.
yourself.
Yep. And
How's that?
it's
Dude,
incredible.
that's pressure. Running for office, that's got pressure.
And not just pressure, but I'm a single daddy every other week. I got twin 12-year-old girls, and I've got volleyball on the weekends and volleyball practice at night, and I'm up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm finishing my dissertation, and I still run a business, and I'm not complaining. But the hard thing about knocking on doors is you get to the end of that day, and then you're like, it's 5:30 right now, and I've got to go out to Macomb.
Yeah,
and
right.
I've got to go knock on doors. Like, what's the last thing you want to do?
That's right. You got Macomb, Arlington,
Yes.
Arcadia.
Yes. And, as you out there, you sit there, and when you run for public office, you take your own money, you take your own time, and there's no guarantee. I'm in a 4-person race. So, I'm doing this, and when people disrespect you and they hate on you, when I took my own money to invest into this, I took my own time, and you're like, I have a pure heart. I just want to do good for the community. And when you get people that truly hate you, truly hate you for no other reason than a political thing.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah, you got to have thick skin, don't you? Kind
but
of.
just it's to me, it's also just lack of respect and understanding of like, hey, whether or not I agree with this person's political views, he's a good man. I'm a good father. I'm a good member of this community. I give back to this community. I'm a tax-paying, good citizen.
Yeah.
That's all. No problem if you disagree with me. Don't hate me.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's have conversations like this. And if you don't agree with me, cool. Why not? And how can we come to terms? But I've had people that won't shake my hand strictly because they think that they hate me, because they think that I'm in a cabal with the city. And,
Yeah, right.
and you're just like,
Yeah, that'd be tough.
You hate me not because of the type of man and father and community member I am, but because I might have a different of opinion.
Right, right.
You know, and that's
I mean, do county commissioners run Republican or Democrat or?
Republican.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
across
yeah.
the board. And so that's what I'm running under. And,
Okay.
you know, that was long story short, I went through some growth and some changes in my life about 5 years ago, and I had seen the world a different way, and I had voted in the Democratic side at one point in my life, and as so many of us have had in our life, where we shift our views of the
Yeah.
world, and I did, and under this race, I'm running as a Republican, and proud to call myself a Republican, a member of the Republican Party, but I've been called a rhino, and that I'm not truly Republican, and I'm not Republican enough, and I'm
Right.
not, and my argument to that is that I should be a Republican's dream, that I saw the world one way. I went through growth. I brought faith into my life. I went through a change, and now I see the world a different way.
Yeah.
And it does align with, and I've never been Democrat or Republican. I've always been more moderate.
Yeah,
And,
right.
you know, and how I see the world. I don't believe in affirmative action. I own guns. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
family, faith, you know, those aspects.
Mhm.
But, you know, also doing right by the world, and making sure that we're thinking about our brethren and our neighbors, and leading with a backbone and a heart. And
Mhm.
if that makes me less of a Republican, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been called, is a rhino, and that's when the hatred, and I mean hatred, and I'm just asking you guys out there, look at the individual and the
Mhm.
man and the person that's running, and male or female, and don't just hate. R's and D's don't matter. Bridges and roads don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, right.
My intention is pure. I want what's best for the community. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't. At the end of the day, the R and the D,
Yeah.
that's not who I truly am. Either
Yeah.
way, you know.
I like that, Orion. Well, where can they go to a website or to a
Yes,
Facebook
so-
page? How do
yes,
how do they contact you or
Yes, so
get
it
on
is
the?
Vote Orion is my website.com, and then also, you know, the Facebook page of Orion Jones for Hancock County Commissioner, and you can see my local post. And, you know, I just had my fundraising event last night at the Bistro, and knocking on doors, and I presented to the Rotary Club, and, you know, you can follow me there and see how I am, and how I live my life, and what type of impact I am in this community. I'm a Children's Mentoring Connection mentor. I'm an ambassador of the Chamber of Commerce, and, you know, going
Nice.
to school here, and raising
Yeah.
a family here, and starting a business here. And I love this place.
Yeah, you're where are you from originally?
Northwest, the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, okay.
Very, very tip of the country. So
Wow.
a small logging community called Port Angeles, Washington.
Okay.
So if you've ever seen Axemen on the History Channel, the Rygaard crew is who I grew up with. So
Okay.
if you ever want to, I know how to buck down trees and set chokers and put
Yeah.
Copenhagen on my eggs.
Nice. That's funny. That's
when I say
funny.
I'm blue collar, like, buddy,
That's funny.
I come from like hickory shirt, hams, beer drinking,
Yeah.
go in the woods, fight, cuss, spit, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like,
That's funny.
You weren't a man unless you could chew, put Copenhagen in your lip, and take down a tree.
That's
Like,
funny.
yeah.
All right, Orion. Well, hey, it's been great talking
Oh,
to you,
man.
dude. I learned a
Pleasure's
lot.
mine.
I love having these little conversations because I do learn stuff, and I appreciate you. And good luck to you, my
You're an
man.
incredible man, Jim.
I appreciate that,
What
Orion.
this
I
guy does
appreciate
for our
that.
community, and
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
no, that's.
Well, shoot, we have 5 more minutes. Let's go.
Let's talk about. No.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yes,
yeah,
sir, I
yeah. So
appreciate
when's the March?
May 5th.
May 5th. May 5th.
primary. If you're early voting, you know, those just went out in the mail. So I saw the Board of Elections director today, and she said that she was getting the ballots out. So, you know, the process is starting.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, hopefully I knock on your door.
Yeah. Well,
and
good
if
luck
I
to
do,
you, my
yeah,
man.
Remember, don't hate.
Yeah. Don't hate.
Don't hate. Love.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We'll see you. See you guys. Thanks. Boom. I'll cut it there. Oh, good. It's good.